Man shot dead in Ocharios. An unidentified man was shot dead in Ochre St. Anne late Saturday. Reporters understand that about 11:20 p.m., the man was in the vicinity of Market Street when he was attacked by a lone gunman, killing him on the spot. The police were later alerted to the body along the roadway. It was the ninth murder recorded in St. Anne since the start of 2025, three less than the corresponding period last year. Police say they have been conducting robust operations in the parish to curtail criminal activities. These operations include vehicle checkpoints, roadblocks, snap and target raids, and increased community and school visits. Alleged burglar fatally shot by an off-duty cop at St. Mary Bar. An investigation is underway into the fatal shooting of an alleged burglar by an off-duty policeman after allegedly breaking into a bar in Naysburg Grove, St. Catherine on Saturday. The deceased man is 24-year-old Tavian O'Neill Stevens, an unemployed resident of Upper Rose Lane, Kingston 14. He was among three men who reportedly opened fire. According to reports, at about 3:30 a.m., the bar owner received an alert and informed the policeman who went to the bar where he allegedly found three men inside. Upon shouting police, the men allegedly opened fire, prompting him to return fire with his licensed weapon. The intruders reportedly fled. Police personnel later arrived and discovered Stevens' body in a wooden section nearby. He was pronounced dead at the Spanish Town Hospital. The Independent Commission of Investigations has since been notified, the police noted. St. Mary farmer shot to death as he slept. A farmer was shot and killed while sleeping in his home in Anota Bay, St. Mary early Monday morning. The incident occurred about 1:50 a.m., but police have not yet released the victim's identity. A woman sleeping in a one-bedroom board house with the farmer was awakened by explosions, according to a police report. She then discovered that her partner had sustained gunshot wounds to his upper body and was bleeding. Fearing for her safety, she ran and hid before calling the police. Upon arrival, law enforcement officers found the man lying on his back on the bed with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the upper body. The police are urging anyone with information to come forward. Citizens are reminded that all information provided will be treated with the highest level of confidentiality, said Anthony Wallace, head of the St. Mary Police Division. The St. Mary Police wants to reassure residents that we are working diligently to ensure the safety and security of the community. Increased patrols and investigative efforts are ongoing, and law enforcement remains committed to bringing those responsible to justice, he noted. The shooting came hours after the police imposed a 48-hour curfew in sections of St. Mary. PM Holness reiterates that Jamaica is reaping the benefit of fiscal discipline. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has reiterated that Jamaica is reaping the benefits of fiscal discipline. He made this statement at Diaspora Town Hall Barbase on Friday. He shared that in the past, Jamaica developed a tradition of borrowing, and when he became Prime Minister, he realized the need to build fiscal independence. According to the Prime Minister, Jamaica has solved part of the equation to become financially independent. He explained that part of the solution involves fiscal rules that determine how much should be borrowed if borrowing is necessary. He reiterated that Jamaica's foreign exchange reverses exceeding $5 billion USD as in their highest ever. He also added that the central bank has been targeting inflation, which has kept under control. He explained that even after the COVID-19 pandemic, the central bank brought inflation down fairly rapidly, and it is now within the target range of 4 to 6%.
Jamaica must stand on its own 2 feet. Nobody's coming to rescue us. Nobody's coming to give us any favors. We must do what is necessary to rescue ourselves. It is within our abilities to do it. We must recognize that you can't borrow your way to development, and neither can you tax your way to development. You have to build a strong economy and treat it like the engine of your vehicle, because it is the economy that is going to deliver the things that you need: the roads, the water supply, the housing, and the stipend. We need every Jamaican to understand that the wages that you're paid in the public sector doesn't just fall from the sky. that the road that you want is not by the wave of a wand, that it comes from the deliberate and instrumental management of the productive resources of the country, of which you are a critical part. And that the role of government is to empower you to be the productive economic agent. So, Jamaica has solved a part of the equation. And the part of the equation is that we now have fiscal rules that determine how much we can borrow, or if we borrow at all, and what we spend.
Jamaica's high murder rate linked to low incarceration rate, CAPRI. Jamaica's generally low incarceration rate is a part responsibility for the country's high murder rate, according to lead researcher at the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI, Diana Chomborn. Turnborn made the observation last Tuesday at a public launch of the European Union backed study titled Hits and Misses: Women in Organized Violence, Challenging the Narrative and Reality of the Jamaican Gangstress. The study found that while Jamaican women are not generally involved in violent crimes and as such are not the ones pulling the trigger, they nonetheless perform multiple and important roles in violent gangs. Turnborn highlighted that despite a proliferation of gangs in Jamaica, the country has one of the lowest imprisonment rates in the hemisphere. This is in a context where there is an epidemic relationship between incarceration rates and murder rates, meaning that there is a negative correlation between the number of homicides and the number of people in prison in Jamaica, Turnborn explained. The more people in prison, the lower the rate of homicides. The fewer people in prison, the higher the homicide rate. This is an observation phenomenon in Jamaica over the past 2 decades, she added. Turnborn said this means that many criminals, male and female, are simply not in prison. She told the launch that the most prevalent form of domestic violence committed by women in Jamaica is violence against children. She noted that women's involvement in serious violent crime is marginal. In 2021, less than 3% of those arrested and charged for Category 1 crimes, murder, shooting, assault, larceny, and robbery, were women. For murders, women accounted for just 2% of all arrests. Turnborn highlighted that CAPRI was unable to find a single case of a woman pulling a trigger in a gang-related homicide. Even in police killings, there have been only one known case of a woman fatally shooting someone that happened in 2018, she noted. In 2024, women made up 4% of the arrests involving gang members. However, there was no prior year to compare this number to, with a total to determine whether it's representing an increase or decline. Of note is that across the globe, there is an increase in the number of women taking part in violent crime, but this is not reflected in Jamaica. Elsewhere, women are participating at the higher rate and being incarcerated at a higher rate than men in many countries, including the Latin America and Caribbean region. Turnborn stated that the opposite was happening in the Caribbean, where female incarceration rates are holding steady or are on the decline, with Jamaica having one of the lowest incarceration rates in the entire hemisphere, with only Haiti and Guatemala having lower numbers. Any assumption that Jamaica would be keeping the international trend of rising female criminality is not born out of the data, she noted. The CAPRI director said the perception of Jamaican women being violent gangsters may be driven by a law enforcement perception bias, where a few more women might be arrested and charged, and this may be unusual, thus appearing to be a surge. She said, media may also play a role where cases involving women are highly publicized, reinforcing the idea of a trend not reflecting in the data. Turnbull admitted that it was possible that women's increasing role in violent crimes was not fully captured by the data, since women's role in crime are less visible and often underreported or harder to detect. Jamaica had an incarceration rate of 125 per 100,000 of a population of 2.85 million people as at July 2022, according to World Prison Brief. At that time, 4% of the incarcerated population was female, 5.4% were juveniles, with an official capacity of 4,276. Some 87% of the space in penal institutions were occupied. Often plagued with overcrowding and unsanitary conditions, 2009 saw the prisons bursting at the seams with an incarceration population of 5,163 inmates. remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.